I had a dream and it failed. Then I had a second dream and that failed. But now I have a third dream. So let me show you what it is. All right, so here's the new dream. I've got the Solo Skiff and I've got the kayak. What I'm going to do is make the head unit compatible on both of them. All right, so that's done. Lawrence, hook, reveal, triple shot head, going to be used on both of them. I'm going to have a power supply, bam, for each kayak. So those just press in, bam, so no big deal. And then I'm going to have two transducers. So I went ahead and got a 8200, 200, 455 hertz transducer that works for the reveal now. And I have the triple shot transducer. Hate this thing. This thing, I can't wait till it breaks off right here, like everybody who's ever bought one of these has happened to. Bad design. I could already see it now, but anyways, so what I'm going to do is the 8200 transducer is going to go on the Offshore Kayak. Since this can read depth, and that's pretty much the only thing I need. I think it's 1,000 foot or 600 to 1,000 foot, so that's totally fine. So that's going to work on the kayak, my Offshore Kayak. Then I'm going to take this off, which was on my Offshore Kayak. I'm going to take the transducer out of this plug, and it is going to be mounted like way it's supposed to, have a bracket on the back, and then this sits in the water off the back of the Solo Skiff, and then hopefully it kicks out of the way when not in use until it breaks, and then I buy the cheaper version, the straight 8200 only one, which is like 60-70 bucks. It's half the size, about like this big, and then I'm going to put that on there and it'll be fine, because the Solo Skiff is just inshore, just need waypoints that I need to get to, not really using the sonar part for much of anything, but that's what we're going to do there. And then to resolve the main issue for the Offshore Kayak, which is needing both the pump for my live well and the sonar working at the same time, I am going to embed this transducer into this plug, leaving this alone. So I'm going to cut out a section. It fits just about right in there. I just have just enough room. This actually mount comes off, so it's even easier. So I'm going to hard mount that in there. And then I was concerned that when I don't use the live well, what I'm going to do, but I noticed this just unscrews and this slides out. So I could just do that, put a plug in there, and this will always be hard mounted, because anytime I go offshore, I will have the GPS FishFinder part of it. So that is going to be our solution. So what do I got to do? I have to dig out a hole for this to fit in there. That's bam, that's good. I need to take this off, mount this to the Solo Skiff, and then that's done. Then I have to put a mount on the Solo Skiff, because before I took the bracket with my old FishFinder and I just screwed that into the hole. I need this removable with the ball unit on there, so I'm going to add a recessed FishFinder Scotty mount, that this will have a mount that just inserts in there, and then it could go and insert into the kayak, so they'll be interchangeable. Then I'll need to have, I bought a second power cable, so this one will stay with the kayak, and then I'll have to wire up the Solo Skiff so it has a permanent hardwired power cable in it as well. So the end result will be both will be rigged up with the transducers ready to go. All I have to do is pick which one and insert the head, plug in the existing cables, which we'll both have on each one of there, and boom, we're good. Go to the other one, I take the head off, move it to the other unit, plug it in, plug, and it's working fine there. So that is the new dream. Let's see how we can fill this up. All right, quick and easy. Transducer is out of this plug. It just went like that. I was thinking about making this one a transducer only, but I would have to remove it each time and mount it on the pump one when I wanted to go pump. It would just be the similar, I would just have like a bracket that held it on there that I could take off, and then a bracket over here that held it on there. But this way, with the removing just the screw head and taking the pump off, is actually easier. So this will be just down the road. If I do another FishFinder, some other accessory, I've got it. So that I am done with. Just like this mount I made for a transducer mount, actually went like that. I don't need either. So that's done. All right, for the Solo Skiff, I think I came up with a quick and easy solution here. I found these brackets. They're made for this adapter head on it. I don't have the little adapters in there. I've got them inside, but it basically sits in there and it mates to this pattern. But I don't even know what these go for. The clearance is not right, so I have to cut this down and make it fit. But in the end, I'll make them, and then it'll go like this, sandwiched in between, and I'll just go like that. And then I guess I might be able to just snug it up so it'll stay down, but then it'll shift out of the way, and this will be like the not in use, and hopefully that will keep this from getting broken off. So that's our plan for the Solo Skiff, so I just need to make it work here. All right, I figured out that this mount setup was for my old transducer. Look how big this baby is compared to my new transducer. Boy, it was a beast. I mean, this was like 1,300 foot depth range, but unfortunately dead. But that's where these brackets came from. But I'll make it work since the caps mate perfectly, so just got to get these brackets cut down. So the final mounting point will end up being right about there, so that way I have clearance off of this edge, and I want it right to the edge. That's the angle there. And then I also want clearance for the retractable position when I'm not using it. I want this stored out of the way, so let me show you that. And then in the same spot, this will be the up position. So I mean, I've got a little catch issue up on top running into something, but I could be wary of that. And then bottom is cleared, everything's out of the way, so that is going to work just fine. I can actually go all the way in here if I want to. So I've got left to right, no problems, up and down, no problems. So yeah, I think we have found our spot. All right, the old FishFinder base mount needs to go, and I'm going to add a locking flush deck mount in its place. Basically another one of these. So let's take this off and swap it out. I figure right about there. I still have the old screw holes that I need to plug up, but since I'm going to have to cut a hole for this guy, boom, I'm going to have a round tab that I could use to plastic weld those holes shut. So let's get this done first. All right, drilled the hole. That leaves us some scrap that I could use to plug those old screw holes there. Bam. All right, went ahead and plugged the holes there using my little plastic welder and just some of these little scraps there. I didn't even need the big piece. I'll save all that. Now I'm just going to hit it with the sander real quick, get it smooth. All right, sand that down, and screw holes are gone. You see a little discoloration from my other plastic welding my red kayak, but those are plugged. So let me screw this one in and we'll be done. All right, mount has been installed. So let me go get the head unit. All right, there's the mount, FishFinder there. Have it on my base plate, ball, coupler, ball mount, down into my lockable Scotty flush mount. Lock it in, it don't come out, unlock it, and I got a yank on it, comes out. And this is basically how I'll store it in the house, and then also we'll use the same adapter for putting it on my red kayak, the Offshore Kayak. So just as easy as dropping it in the hole, unlocked, lock it in. It's not going anywhere. Now, I got this because usually the way you lock it is you put it in at 180 degrees, spin it around, then that tab is on a non-notch side so it can't come out. This way it just locks it in there straight in, so I don't have to do that 180 degree turn. But there we go. So next up, wiring. All right, power cable's done now. So there we got the little pigtail that all my inside ones that attach to the battery. I guess this is the female side, and the battery has the male connector. All of my batteries can connect to any one of these. And then the outlet goes to here, and that plugs into the FishFinder. Beep, and that's what powers it. Has a same little hole underneath here. I just made it just enough width as the cable. I actually did it on my other one, so it can't pull through, and then it stays hidden underneath this little carrier there. So wiring is done. And when I say wiring is done, I just say for this test drive of this new FishFinder setup, I am going to put in a power bar, so everything will be powered up, and then I'll just have one female end to the power strip, and that will electrify everything that's attached to it. That way I could have multiple things running off of one battery and not having to have a battery for each item. Learned that the hard way, but not that big a deal. All right, finished up the back mount there. Bam. Just use some stainless steel shank bolts in there. So very solid. I like it. Adjustable from ready position, and then loosen this nut, and then I could ratchet it up so it's straight up and down, or not almost straight up and down. Well, let me show you. But that's the dangle right there, and that's the up position. So most of the time when I'm not using the FishFinder, I have this out of the way, which will be most of the time. And then it's got clearance for days. It could probably absorb a hit in the back because I'll hit this rail pretty close to the same time. It's just getting whacked that way, and it snaps off the ear right there. And that's how most of these triple shot transducers die. But when it does, then I'll get a nice little stubby shorty and then not have to worry about any of this stuff. But there you go. Wiring, I'm just gonna run it along here, just basically the same thing as this power cord that does my pump. So I'll just zip tie it along there, and then runs over to the where the FishFinder will be right there. So, and I'll just leave the excess and the coiled up underneath there and out of the way, since this is pretty much going to stay on here. Yep, there we go. All right, let's test this out. Wiring's all done. Put in one of my batteries just to try it out. Oh, the beeping sound. Yep, powering up, looking good. Takes a little while to boot up. Final wiring. It just runs around the back here. That power wire can go in there. Small one's a power wire, then the transducer is the thicker cable. Just stacked right here, excess. That's basically it. Power's on, everything works. So this one's ready for a test drive. Nice. The only thing I might still do is, I was hoping that I could make this a tension fit, so I could just grab it and then click, 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 get it down to the right mode. But I don't think that's going to function. I need to loosen this nylon nut, and I have to put a wrench on this side and then the ratchet on this side in order to get it loose, get it to the position, and then retighten it. But what I was thinking about doing, because this is fairly thick, I might heat this head up, or this bolt's head up, and push it in there so it form fits inside the plastic, so it's stuck in there. That way I could just loosen it with just the ratchet. But I don't know, we'll see how much of a hassle it is. If it's a real hassle,
because of the salt water and I don't want to get my tools salty and rusty, I might do that. But if it's not that big of a deal, then I'll just leave it. So we'll give it a few test drives before we change anything. But other than that, the rest of it's set. Don't have to do anything. Hook up a battery and it's working. All right, so we got this laid out. This is from the bottom, so the spout of my pump would be coming up through there. So I want this sitting like that, just recessed. I should be able to make it so it's flush with the top there, so I just need to dig this section out. So let me figure out how to do that. I started out by drilling the hole at an angle. This is for the cord to go through. Got the outline of the transducer that I need to plow out now. Use a die grinder. Basically did a 1/2 inch hole. That's the biggest drill bit I have, and then used a die grinder with this little cutting blade and wind it out. So now we got to work on gouging this area out. This is that plastic wood stuff, so it actually cuts pretty nicely. I figured I'd bring out the old router. I bought this to do my sliding door over there, the handles, and then clearancing it. But this is truly a scary machine, but it's reaming it out. So I'm just gonna do the outline as close as I can, then just knock this out and then see how we fit. But it's rough, but it's going okay. All right, got the rough outline. So now I'm just gonna put on a bigger blade there and cut this center stuff out, and then we can see what we got to work with. I can fine tune it with my die grinder. Well, check this out. Look at that. That's first pass. It's actually upside down because the cord, this goes reverse, but yeah, that fits in there nice and snug. Wow, I'm actually kind of shocked. Look at that. There is no movement at all. It snaps in there. I don't even think I can get it out. Huh. It might have just found its home. Go home. It went home. Just had a couple of little whoops, but rough cutting it has a bunch of ins and outs, so it's basically grabbing it like fingers. Man, that is pretty much done. I need to, maybe I'll put one screw with a tab, just for the sake of having just a little tab just holds it on there. I don't need very much because it is not going anywhere. Holy crap, that was freaking amazing. All right, made a little tab that's going to hold this down, just using my other one that was used for that long transducer. Just cut it down, heated it up, kind of flattened it, made it kind of a clamp angle. So now I'm just going to screw that in, and that'll lock it in, and then we'll be done. Damn. Ooh-wee, look at there. Bam. That is badass. That hole is big, oversized, so I could run the head of the plug through it. Damn, that came out nice. So this is how I'll use it if I just want to do transducer only, no pump. I could just unscrew the pump, slide it out, and then I had this core plug that I cut out for the FishFinder install for the recessed rod holders, and then I just tapered it and bam, got a plug. So I'll put a piece of rope through there with a knot and then a loop on this side so I could just pop it out when I need to. And then if I want to do FishFinder with pump, then I just screw that in there, put that in, and the wires are already on there. This will have the cable already hooked up. So 2-in-1. Like it. And there we go, pump installed. Bam, transducer installed. That is badass. I like it. What's good thing about it is I was expecting to take a whole nother day to get this done, so I get to go fishing tomorrow, or at least I don't know what the weather is, but at least I get to go out and test these tomorrow, so I could do the kayak and the Solo Skiff and make sure everything works, and I'll be ahead of the schedule. But man, that came out nice. I was so stoked I had to go ahead and install it. There's baby. That's hooked up with the FishFinder. Bam. That's how we're looking. I was concerned that it would be sticking out below, but I forgot that it's way underneath there. So I got this whole cavern there. Won't even rub it if I go on the beach. God, this thing is perfect. Alrighty, let's go do a quick test run, check things out on this new FishFinder setup. One of the main things I want to check out is this transducer. Get the angles right once the Solo Skiff is in the water and kind of see how it's sitting when it's running. 2 is loading and unloading in this position versus having it up. Do I necessarily need to make sure it's up each time? Which I probably should, or I'm gonna end up snapping that off right there. But other than that, just make sure my wiring's good, make sure the FishFinder is reading correctly, and then we should be good. So just a quick run, so let's head on out. Well, here's one major problem. It sticks out, so when I walk around, I went whack, and I thought I broke it. Then I came around this way and whack, I hit it again. So that's gonna be an issue. All right, got everything rigged up, I think. Man, I hate that thing. Yeah, I gotta work on that. That's gonna get whacked. Look at that, finger mullet on the boat launch. They're just wanting to go out fishing, but I have no fishing poles. Well, one of the things that I'm going to be checking, and it looks about right, is the angle of the transducer in regards to being perpendicular with the water. So on the trailer it looks like it's angled up, but as this thing sits the way it's going to, it's a little bit more angled, and especially when I'm on the run and the butt squats. So that might be right where it's at. And fired up, no problem, so looking good there. And I have to be very careful around docks like this, but where that's going to get whacked off, another area, is when I get pushed into the mangroves. A lot of times the wind will just push me there, or the current is going to get wrapped around some roots, and then I'm going to push out at an angle and it's going to snap it off. All right, let's see what we're reading. Basic sonar, looking good. Side scan, that's going to take a little bit. Oh no, it's reading all right. So far so good. A lot of rip-rap along the edge there. Alright, let's go run around a little bit and see how this thing works. Basic sonar. $10 or 9 foot, maybe, can't see, overcast. $83-degree water temps, 4 knots. All right, there's the chart's working fine, running my tracks, all good there. Sonar, I need to come out on a nice, clear, flat, calm day, go out to the reef, find some pinnacles, and start being able to actually watch the screen, watch the structure physically go by. Then I can see where the transducer is registering, if it's straight up and down, if it's forward of it, if it's back, how far back, and so forth. So otherwise, it's running clean. Side scan, I have to play with it again on the way back in. I had to go back in and choose the correct transducer since it didn't know what I had hooked up with, but I need to play with that some more to know what I'm looking for, or what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for. Other than that, it's going to be worthless. So that is that. I really don't have much else. Down scan, but I prefer the traditional, and then normal split screen. Yeah, that's good. I use this a lot when I'm doing the wrecks, so that I can see my tracks, where I'm going over my wreck waypoints, and then seeing how it's lining up with the actual wreck, since they're always a little bit off and then they're spread out into multiple sections. So that works fine. So I think we're all good. So yeah, let's head on back. Quick and easy. All right, now the side scan's making sense. I saw little inlets where there was another channel opening. This was a pole that was pushed out, so it couldn't scan past the pole, so it looks like a long mark and going back to normal. And we're just running along the edge here. And these are all the different pillars of the docks. Yeah, I was wondering why when I was coming out it was all monotone, but that's because I didn't have the triple shot transducer selected. And now I can see all the different pylons. Now we should come to a hard edge. That's going to be this right here. Come to this bushy stuff. Interesting. And the other thing I want to try to see is if that transducer, as it sits, if I try to hand load it at that angle, if it's going to whack it and break it. Good test. The problem is when I lift, I can't see if it's going to hit. And this front end is heavy. All right, we'll see if we break it on the first trip. Stay. Ooh. Oh, I got plenty of clearance. Let me get up higher. That's a pretty steep angle. Ooh, it's close. About 4 inches. And it's going to get even steeper. Ooh. No, it's still floating. Let me see. Ooh. That's not good. That's... Ooh, I got about around an inch. Well, I didn't hit it. It's damn close though. If I think I had it angled down, it would have whacked it. That's not good. I don't like that at all. All right, loaded up. I hit that for the third time walking by, just wham, you don't see it. So I got to figure something else how to do that. But we're loaded up and it's raining. We're out of here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off on the Solo Skiff just being done. with the exception of this being a hazard. I'm just gonna have to be very careful until I break it, and I can just get a standard transducer, but yeah, I'll live with it. All right, time to take this guy off and go get the red Offshore Kayak and play with that a bit. That one's going to be a little bit more detailed because I also have to hook up the live bait well, the tank, which I haven't done in a while, and make sure that works, as well as the FishFinder, and do them both. So that'll be up next. All right, next up we've got the red Offshore Kayak all ready to go. I've got the mount in there, transducer and pump for the live well system, which sits on this platform on the outriggers there. Tackle box, gas, 2.5 horsepower outboard, pedals. So quite a bit more stuff has to go in the car when I run this guy, but it all fits nicely and works well. Mount stays on there. This is the quick release system where the FishFinder will just snap in, so don't have to do much. Transducer cable, and yeah, we're ready to go do a test drive with this guy. Full on pump, live well system, and FishFinder. So that'll be tomorrow's run though. So we're gonna close this up and wait till tomorrow. And let's launch this guy. And easy as that. Alright, got the electronics and the live well hooked up with the hosing, motor starts, so I think we're good to go. So let's go take a quick test drive. I didn't even have to fire up and go. It self-primed just because of the current running into that nozzle there. So that's good. Plenty of water. Got the Chum Chucker 5000. Couple bait nets. Oh, I didn't bring my big bait net. Oh, that was a mistake. Well, FishFinder's powering up, so we're good there. So let's just see if it boots up okay. All right, and Sonar's working. I did have to switch over the transducer option because I had it on the triple shot. But now I've got the standard split shot. Well, actually, it's a step up from the split shot transducer, but no side scan. So we're looking good there. So that's working. And I see pilchards. Oh, I didn't bring my stakeout anchor. Oh, there they go. There they go. Well, I screwed that up. Yeah, they're all right here. Let me get prepared then. I did remember to bring my net though. So I forgot my larger dip net, and I also forgot my stakeout pole. But for my offshore days, generally I don't need those, but when I'm bait catching I do, so I'm just gonna have to remember that. All right, here we go. No glass minnows, small pilchards. Oh no, they're decent ones, and there's a lot. Alrighty, might as well turn on the live well. Oh no, stuck. Oh no, we're stuck. Not the best release. That's a perfect load. I don't want too many, especially since I don't have my dip net. Nice. That's actually just about the perfect amount. All right, let that fill up. I'll get everything cleaned up and we can go from there. All right, got the net packed away. We're pretty much stowed. One thing I need to do is put both these batteries inside the hole and just run the wires through that hole there. That's the original plan, but I just didn't do it this time. But that'll alleviate this, and then this coil will also go away because that's the transducer one. The transducer is right underneath here, but I'll run the cable down into the hole, store all the coils in the hole, and then run the end out again just long enough to get to here. So it'll basically run down to there. I could probably zip tie it all together since it's always going to be on here, and that will clean out all this stuff. So something to work on for next time. The live well working good. I've got it set for a low position here. If I want the water level high, I just turn that up and it goes higher. If I'm on the run, this pump will out produce water or input more water than this can exfil. So what I have to do is, or what I can do, because I don't want it to go too full, when I'm stopped like this, I could run it all the way to the top where I've got these relief holes. But when I'm running, I want it lower. And since this pump can pump this water outlet, then I've got these that I could use it to relieve the pressure. And this one, also for emergencies. But we're good. Went for a couple mile run, and looks like everybody's still happy except these guys in my Chum Chucker 5000. They're already preloaded. They voluntarily came in there. Maybe that's the way I load it. I just leave it in there and they fill it themselves. Alright, back at the launch. Still got a bunch of happy campers. Gonna release those. One other thing that I need to work on is I do need to plug up some of this edge holes, because as I'm running it injects water up here, a lot more water than needs be. So basically I just need to bring a t-shirt and wedge it in this back half, and that'll keep that injection. So that's one other thing I need to add. Batteries, talked about it. Everything else working excellent, so very happy about it. My emergency drains, if I ever need to abandon ship because we're sinking, just pop those two bottom plugs. But otherwise, get these guys out of here. Hope you had a enjoyable trip. Come back and see me again. All right, there you go, all loaded up. Packed up rather well. Very nice. So let's head on back. Alrighty, we are back and very happy with the Offshore Kayak. I'm green lighting it to start fishing. So this baby's ready to go. Very happy. Got a little stuff to do. Got to run the batteries inside there, but that's just something I need to do when I'm ready to take it out. And then bring a towel or t-shirt and just stuff it around the edges, and that should be fine. But otherwise, electronics wise, it's ready to go. So expect some offshore content soon. And I'm also green lighting the Solo Skiff. The FishFinder setup is done. Well, until I walk by and snap that one off, but otherwise it's good to go. So I am going to be starting to fish with this guy now, since everything is pretty much up to par. So very happy about that. All right, there you go.
Solo Skiff, done, check. Offshore Kayak, done, check. So I'm gonna be able to start fishing again, get some blue water stuff, especially this new year going forward, because All About the Bait is going to be getting in the offshore biz. So that's what a lot of my focus is going to be for 2026. The Solo Skiff, got it ready for this wintertime fishery, sea trout, mackerels, backcountry. So expect to see a lot of content on that and how I work those areas in the back and those no man's land in the Gulf side there, flats. But otherwise, I'm very happy. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.